Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's Tamilia. If you are new here, welcome. Please don't forget to hit your subscriber button as well as your notification bell so you can be alerted whenever there is a new upload. Ooh. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience traveling during a pandemic, about me quarantining when I got back, and all that jazz. So if you are interested, keep watching. So first things first, if you haven't already watched part 1 and part 2 and also part 3 of my Jamaica vlog, I will be linking them throughout the video so you can go ahead and check those out. Let me throw a little disclaimer out there. This is my experience with traveling. This is my experience with traveling to Jamaica during the pandemic. Everyone's experience will be different, that's for certain, but again, this is just what I had to go through and what was happening with me and also my friends as well. So because I was traveling from Canada to Jamaica, they didn't require a negative COVID-19 test to arrive into the country. They did ask though that you fill out a travel authorization form, so you do need to get permission to arrive into the country. The travel authorization form needs to be filled out up to 5 days prior to departure, and then it will let you know whether or not you're approved to come into the country. Once you got your approval, you will either print it out, so it's a page that you can print out or download to your phone, because when you do arrive at the airport, you do have to show the gate agent proof that you have permission to arrive into the country before you could board your flight. So we filled that out, whatnot. I printed mine off and proceeded to the airport, whatnot. Again, like I mentioned, because I am traveling from Canada to Jamaica, they did not ask that we didn't have to provide proof of a negative COVID test. However, my friend, when she was going to Jamaica about a month before I went, when she arrived in Jamaica at the airport, they swabbed her for COVID. So for me, when I arrived into Norman Manley International Airport, there was nurses in full hazmat suits along the sides, in the hallway there, the corridor, in the terminal. They didn't stop me, they just kept going. I just kept going. So I proceeded to Customs and Immigration. They gave them my declaration form and they let me go. Come out of the immigration hall, there's Army personnel there to greet you. They'll ask you questions, and then you will either have to sit down and upload an app, or you will have to just go, you can just proceed and go get your bags. It's very inconsistent at the airport in Jamaica. I say that to say this because some people had to put the app on their phone, some people didn't. I don't know what their, like how they decipher who puts the, like who gets the app, who doesn't. So very inconsistent, so just be prepared for that. The going through the airport for me was a breeze. It wasn't as bad as my friends had made it seem, because like I mentioned, or if I didn't mention, I had a couple friends that had gone down before me, like back in October, November, and one had said they waited up to 2 hours, one said it was about an hour and whatnot. And for me, it was literally like a walk in the park. It was like I come off the plane, go through Customs Immigration, the Coast Guards, the Army guys ask a 1-2 questions, and I go get my bags and I'm out the door. So that's that. If you do have to get the app on your phone or on your device, it's pretty simple. I don't have it on mine, but it's like every day you check in and they're asking you a question, like if you have any symptoms, have you been in contact with anybody? You answer that, and I think they want you to do it like on video. Don't quote me because I didn't use the app. So that's that. In Jamaica, there was curfew. The 2 weeks I was there was a curfew in place for 10 o'clock. You do have to wear a mask. They are trying to enforce mandatory masks. Some people were following the rules, some people didn't. I made sure that I always had a mask in my bag regardless, because you just never know. But when you're going into major establishments, they have a whole procedure where they take your temperature, sanitize you, and make sure you have on your mask and you're keeping your 6 feet apart. So you get to Jamaica, do your thing, have fun, be safe. Fast forward to now when it's time to come back into Canada. So while I was in Jamaica, the Canadian government decided that they were going to implement a rule that any Canadian or anybody outside of Canada coming into Canada to visit, you need to come into the country with a negative COVID test. So that came into effect, I believe, January 7th, and I was still in Jamaica at the time. So it was like a little bit chaotic trying to find a COVID center to get tested. And then they were hitting us with these large amounts for the COVID test, because at one point COVID test was free, and then now all of a sudden they're asking for like up to $200 Canadian to get swabbed. So between Wednesday and Saturday, the airline kept notifying me of all the changes that were happening, about where I can go and get tested and whatnot. Because I was in Jamaica at the time, and their COVID centers were overbooked, and it was so hard to get an appointment to get in, the Canadian government decided that if you were departing out of the Kingston International Airport into Toronto or into Canada, you can get tested for COVID upon arrival into Canada, but you have to be departing between January 10th and January 18th. That was your window. So lucky for me, I was departing between those days, so I was like, all right, cool, I'm not going to stress about getting a COVID test in Jamaica. I can get my COVID test in Toronto. Because I live in Calgary and I had to connect through Toronto to get to Calgary, my process to get home was a nightmare, like a big nightmare, to the point where I honestly wish I just got my COVID swab in Jamaica. So let's just jump right into that now. So we arrive at the airport to go back to Canada. We get there, they give you this brochure. I don't know if you can see that. It's a brochure of, I didn't even read it, to be honest, but they asked me to fill out you had to fill out a sheet on here. I don't even know why I had to fill it out and they didn't even take it from me. So waste of paper right there. They give you this brochure, and pretty much what you had to do was download an app, and the app was called, I'm gonna link it across the screen here, but it's called Arrive Can. So it's Arrive Can. So it's an app that you're gonna need to make sure you have on your phone for your arrival into Canada. So pretty much all the information that they gathered off of this piece of paper, you have to input it in the app. And you can't board your flight out of Jamaica into Canada unless you have this app. So I don't know, again, I don't know what the point of the paper was. We just killed X amount of trees. Goodie. So I get on the plane, I get to Toronto, I land, and they give us another sheet of paper. And this was silly that they gave this to us when we landed in Toronto, because it says what you can expect on arrival. I didn't even read it, to be honest, because you get there and then they tell you to download you have to download another app, which is to get your COVID test, your COVID-19 swab at the airport. So that's what this is pretty much. So it's like, yeah, another waste of paper. But anyways, you land, we get there, you download the app, you fill out the form, you go and you fill out your Canadian declaration, and then you go to customs, they ask you all these questions, and then you jump into, because if you didn't have a negative test, you have to go into the line where they're testing people. Because I'm connecting, they are telling me that I need to now quarantine at a government facility until I get until my negative COVID test results come back. I wanted to go to my auntie's house, my friend's house, my grandma's house, my brother's house. Like, I wanted to go somewhere, and they're like, no, you can't completely self-isolate there because other people are there, so you have to quarantine at this government facility. So I'm just like, all right, cool. He's like, yeah, so you're gonna go, he's like, you're gonna go get swabbed, and then you're gonna get your bags, and then you're gonna go and get swabbed, and then they're gonna take you to this facility. And then once your negative test is, once your negative test results come in, so once you have to, all right, so once your test comes back negative, then you could, then they will coordinate with me on rebooking my connecting flight to go to Calgary. I'm just like, all right, sir, tell me what I need to do, whatever. So then again, they give me another sheet of paper. This one is about the mandatory quarantine and this, that, the third, which I'll get into more detail in a second. So they give me another sheet of paper, and then I go to baggage claim to go pick up my bags, and then I got random secondary search, whichever, had to deal with that. That took up some time. And then coming out of the baggage hall and secondary search, there's the COVID-19 testing in the airport in Toronto. So again, I'm trying to record, and they stop me. They're like, you can't record. And I'm just like, seriously, I just want to show myself getting swabbed, and they're telling me no. And I'm like, you're denying my basic human rights, like. But anyways, got my COVID-19 swab. It wasn't as painful as I thought it was gonna be, or how people make it out to be. It's just really uncomfortable, and I find it really disgusting that they're using the same swab that they swab in one nostril in the other. And I wish to God, again, I was able to get footage, but they were just like, no ma'am. So I was just like, you know what, I'm not in the mood to go back and forth with anybody. Let me just follow the rules and get going. So it's now 10 p.m. I have to now get on this magic school bus, and they take me to this government facility. And I keep doing this because, let me tell you, I pull up, I'm thinking it's like, you know, I pull up and it's just a hotel. It's legit, they put you in a hotel. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like and everything. But you're just going to a hotel that they have blocked off, sectioned off for people who are quarantining in Toronto. So you get there, there's a nurse or whatever she wants to call herself in a full hazmat suit. They're checking you in, and they're asking you pretty much the same questions that you just answered at the airport twice. So it's just repetitiveness. Okay, so I answer the questions. They tell me what room I'm going to, and then there's somebody in a hazmat suit ushering you up to your room. They don't give you a room key or anything, because guess what, boo? You cannot leave that room, okay? We'll get into all that. So after your COVID swab, they give you another sheet of paper saying just arrived into Canada, you must, and all this, really enforcing you about this whole quarantine thing, and they're really pushing and threatening you with jail time and a fine of up to $100,000 or imprisonment of up to 3 years, or both. So anywho, more paper that they didn't have to print, because all of this that they're telling you is in this app. So you get there, you check in, they give you this sheet, and then you get this brochure. This brochure is about everything about your stay, because there are people that are quarantining there for the whole 14 days. They did give me an option, actually, I should mention. The two options were, so option one was to take a test, so take the COVID-19 swab, and then stay in this facility until my test results come back negative, or I could stay in this facility for the whole 14 days and then go home. I was just like, you know what, swab me up, and then in like 2 days, because the results come back in about 48 hours, I could catch a flight and go home. So they give you this. This tells you all about your stay, the numbers to call, when your meals are going to be provided to you, because they do give you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a snack, and the snack comes with your lunch. There's some rules in here. I did read this one, this brochure I did read, because there were some things I was like, yeah, I really need to know what if I'm going to be locked up in this room, like what's going to happen. So it tells you here on whatever page, photography or videos. Please refrain from taking any photos or videos during your stay. It is strictly prohibited in order to protect the privacy and safety of current and future guests, as well as the personnel supporting you at this facility. We thank you for your cooperation. Yes. So while I was there, every time a nurse came or housekeeping came, because they had on like full hazmat suits and stuff, I was trying my best to get some footage. So again, I will insert some clips here. They tell you also there's a strict no visitor policy in effect for your full stay to prevent possible spread of the virus. And I knew exactly which hotel I was staying at in Toronto. So I was like, I was talking to my friends, and they're all like, oh, can we come and get you? And I'm like, unfortunately, no, because it is blocked off. They have security outside the hotel, like on both sides with this barricade. So if you're not authorized to be on the property, you can't get in. They tell you that you can't, on this page, yeah, outside food delivery is not permitted in the facility for the safety of all travelers. There is no on-site kitchen or hotel room service, because your meals are delivered daily. I think it was from the Canadian Red Cross. Let me go back and read. Yes, Canadian Red Cross. And I had to call them a few times to tell them, like, ma'am, the food that you guys are providing to me, I don't like, it's not appetizing for me. So it's a brochure with all that information. The room is really nice and comfy, so that's a good thing. You get a TV in there, unlimited Wi-Fi, the bathroom's nice, they come in and they clean up daily. So every day housekeeping comes, restocks you with your towels if you need, your water, and they sanitize and wipe down all your high touch points. So the TV, the remote, the door handles, microwave, fridge, all that, which is good. Also, every day that you are there, a nurse comes and checks your temperature, and they pretty much ask you the same questions that I'm gonna go into, where you have to answer in the app. So I'm gonna try to link it here so you guys can kind of follow along with me. So you get an email every day, and the email, it just says it's an arrived CAN notification, and it's like, as a traveler that recently entered Canada, you must complete the following symptom reporting with the Government of Canada daily during your 14-day period. You click the link, it brings you to the app, and then you answer the question. It's like, do you have any symptoms? Do you have any symptoms? It's like fever, cough, difficulty breathing, and all that. The nurse is gonna come to your door and ask you the same thing, and you go about your business. Also, while you are in this government facility, anytime your door knocks and you're going to the door, you have to wear a mask. But this 1-888 number is gonna call you. I got that call twice during my 14-day of quarantine, and it was automated. And it was just asking you all these questions and whatnot, and also reminding you that if you break your quarantine, you can be arrested and you'll have to pay a fine, and you can face up to, you can face 6 months to up to 3 years in jail. Yeah. So very threatening automated voice box that's going to be calling you and letting you know and whatnot. So for my whole 14 days of quarantine, I received that call twice. So overall, my experience traveling during a pandemic, it wasn't as bad. It was just the end portion when I had to quarantine in Toronto that kind of like dampened like my whole mood and whatnot. So overall, it wasn't that bad. And now that they have this whole travel restrictions in place for Canadians, that if you are leaving the country, in order to enter the country again, you need to come back with a negative test. So for me, will I do this again? Yes. I would just make sure that I know what's all the travel restrictions in place and prepare myself for my return. And that is all that I have for you guys. So if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave comments down below, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.